Over the past few years, I've generated over $200 million in email marketing revenue. And I'm about to show you the exact strategy that I use to help brands make 30 to 50% of their total store revenue from emails without relying on constant discounts. Because if sending 20% off sales to your whole entire email list is the only strategy that you have, you're literally training your customers to never buy at full price, and you're never going to be able to be profitable, and just ruining your profit margins as well as your brand. Instead, I focus on a non-discount approach that handles objections one by one while slowly educating the customer into buying our product, all at full price. And in this video, I'm giving away all of those secrets completely for free. We'll be covering what types of emails you should be sending, how often to send them, and I'll even walk through a live example. This way you can install this exact email system into your brand to start making money from your email list today without having to rely on discounts. All right, first we need to talk about what makes a good email strategy in 2026. Because most brands are getting this completely wrong. They either send discount after discount, cutting their margins every single time, or they just completely undersend and underutilize their email marketing. They send out 1 or 2 email campaigns per week randomly and end up leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. Or potentially they're sending at the right frequency of around like 4 times per week, but it's just not converting like it should be because they're sending the wrong stuff. And that's all because these groups don't actually know what it should look like to have a non-discount email strategy. And the non-discount email strategy is all about sending the right mix of content at the right frequency, so your brand is going to stay top of mind at all times with your customer list without annoying them. Now here's what that actually looks like. Now we need to understand this about the e-commerce market in 2026. There are a few key things here at play because there are 1,000 new brands launching every single week. So there's a ton of competition. And you know what? The shoppers love to browse. They like to see what other stuff is out there. They like to see all these new up and coming brands. There are all sorts of cool ads being shown to them every single day. The average customer sees over 170 different e-com brand ads every single day. So there's a ton of competition and they like to browse. But at the same time, trust is a huge thing because people need to know that you are a legit brand. They've been scammed in the past. They've had poor experiences. And so really you need to earn that sale. And with all this different competition, you need to earn the sale over all those people. So like you look at this customer, they have that skeptical side of them of just like, who is this brand? I've been scammed online. I need to know that I can trust them. Why should I go with them over the other 50 brands that are in this industry? And like, what are people saying about this brand? That's like the scary part of them. And this is happening at the same time as them being like, OMG, yay, so cool. So many brands and products to choose from. And so essentially they're going to each one of these brands and they're having a fun time doing it. And then they're asking themselves these questions. And whatever brand can answer these questions more effectively, it's going to be the one that makes that sale. And the way to become that brand that earns that sale is through your email marketing. You could just send people a ton of ads, but that's gonna be very expensive, while emails cost pennies on the dollar. And so that brings up, how many campaigns should we be sending to our list? How often should we be sending to them? Now, every brand is different, and so of course it's going to depend. But in general, what we find is you want to send to your engaged email list roughly 3 to 4 times per week. I've tested this across 200 plus different brands, and I promise I'm not lying to you. And so we have these options right here. You could send 1 to 2 times per week, but the problem here is that the customer forgets about you. They really do. If somebody signed up to your email list and you only send them 1 email in the first week, what are we doing? That person at that point has already made the decision on what brand they're going to go with. Customers are just unable to form a habit of opening your email. They don't get used to you, you don't become familiar, and you just leave a ton of money on the table. Not to mention the deliverability implications. If you don't send enough emails, then you're not going to be able to build up a reputation in Gmail and land in their main inbox. But on the other side, if you go to 5 to 7 per week, you're gonna start getting super high unsubscribes. The customers can get annoyed. It can dilute the power of your messaging because you're sending so much. It's like, why do I need to listen to all this stuff? And then your revenue does start to plateau at a certain range. However, landing in that 2 to 4 per week range, ideally that 3 to 4, you're gonna have higher revenue, you're gonna have lower unsubscribes as long as you're sending the right content. More importantly, we're gonna be able to stay top of mind with the customer at all times. And our emails are gonna hold a lot of weight. And so when we're sending emails at this frequency, people understand us and they're able to get our messages. And we have a higher chance of landing in their inbox on a day where maybe they're in a buying mood. And so that's like really how many times we want to send. Now 4 emails per week, that might sound a lot. It's about 16 per month, but I promise there are literally infinite ideas that you can send emails about that you can get sales without discounts. So I like to break it down into 4 main buckets of non-discount emails. And then we have a 5th bucket, which are going to be your discounted emails. It's optional. You don't need to send discounts. I do recommend it, usually once per month, to have some sort of sale or discount or offer. It keeps them being rewarded for being on the email list so that they don't unsubscribe because they know that they might miss out on a future discount. But of course, we don't want to overdo it. But let's go into these content pillars. We have the educational pillar. So this is going to be like FAQs FAQs, overcoming those, ingredient education, that sort of stuff. And then we have our social proof. That's going to be customer testimonials, media features, all that sort of stuff. We're going to have community stuff, and then like branded sort of content, where like brand building sort of content. And then we have our product or collection highlights. So trending products, gift guides, product breakdowns, and then of course we have our sales. We found in over $200 million of making money from email marketing that a good cadence is going to have a similar amount of all this. So for example, if you're sending 10 emails a month, which is going to be around like 2 to 3 emails per week, you're going to want 2 of everything. And then maybe add like 1 extra for these. So maybe 3 educational, 3 social proof, 3 product specific, 3 community branded emails. And then 2 sale emails just to encapsulate a week long. So that's what we want to send. And we also want to make sure that we're mixing these graphic and text-based emails. This is a big thing in 2026, is including these text-based emails. They show up completely native in the customer's inbox. It looks like a friend is actually sending you a message. It's Corbin from Breeze right here. What does it taste like? And so it literally looks like a friend. This is a massive brand, an 8-figure brand, messaging you like, hey, yo, the most common question I get is, what does this taste like? It makes sense. Buying a drink you found on the internet is a little risky, especially if it tastes like another sad club soda. And so it has like this sort of like friendly vibe to it, and it comes from like a real person down here. You end with much love. So people really like that, and all of my best performing emails of all time are these text-based emails. They're the secret sauce. But we want to make sure that we have our graphic-based emails. They're great for educating people, having infographics which people can skim and learn. And so typically what we like to do is about a 3 to 4 to 1 ratio of graphic-based emails to text-based emails. So say you send 16 emails in a given month, I'd want roughly 12 of those emails to be graphic-based emails, and then maybe 4 of them to be the text-based emails. So as we're building out those strategies, we're going to have to keep those in mind. So here, what I have here is 100 high converting email ideas based off of those 5 content pillars that I showed you. We have our educational emails, which are going to be like FAQs, ingredient highlights, how it's made, label decoder, how you've been using it wrong, like all this sort of stuff, what's not in our product, what happens if you stop using it, explained a specific benefit. We're gonna have that stuff. And then we're gonna have our social proof emails, which is going to be like these testimonial emails, breaking down the numbers, real people and real results. You can do influencers, all that good stuff. And then we go to our community and branded based stuff, which a lot of this is going to be a lot of the text-based emails as well. Our mission, our brand timeline, summarize the history, why we exist, our values, this sort of stuff works really, really well and brings people closer to the brand. Then we also have our product or collection highlight emails, which are going to be actual, like just focused on the product or just focused on a collection. So trending now, product spotlights, seasonal must-haves, that sort of stuff. And then of course you have your sales. And so these can all count as sale emails. It's like some sort of teaser, launch emails, gift with purchase, mystery offers. Those are all different sale emails that you can use in different offers that you can run. So we have a ton of ideas here, but I've actually trained a custom GPT right here to help us build calendars. It's called the Email Marketing Brain, and you can get it for free if you click the link in my bio or just go to wellcopy.net/GPT. We're actually going to do one of these together. All right, so here I am in my Email Marketing Brain. If you click this main menu, it's gonna give you a few different options, and we're gonna use the option of create us a campaign calendar. You could do create me an email campaign calendar for next month, or you could do give me email campaign ideas, however you want, and then you can build that calendar yourself. Maybe we'll do that, but we can also try this. You might have to go back and forth with it a little bit, but it is a really good starting point. So I'm going to type D right here for write me an email marketing calendar. It's gonna ask me a few questions just about the brand and kind of like anything that we need here. So I'm gonna pull some info for some random brand. All right, so I went ahead and filled this out for just random brand Magic Mind. I have no affiliation with them, but I just used one of their email examples, so might as well use this. So I answer this question. Let us go on ahead and send this in and see what ChatGPT comes up with. Alrighty, let's see what we've got. So it's gonna balance our 5 different content types right here, and here is what we've got, and we can break down some of these ideas and see how good we think they are. All right, so we've got 3 campaigns this week, and then we've got 4 the next week, and then we've got 3 the next week, and then 3 the next week. You can see it's broken us down the total different content types. We've got 4 educational, 3 social proof, 2 community and brand building, 2 product and collection highlights, and then 3 sales emails within this. And let's look at right here. So we have the type 3 ways high performers use Magic Mind to win the day. I love it. So if you guys don't know who Magic Mind is, they sell like mental performance shots and essentially health shots here that you can take in the morning. That's what their main product is. So there's a lot of education that needs to happen. And so I love how the ChatGPT gave us a ton of educational points. And notice how these educational points, like right here, 3 ways high performers use Magic Mind to win today. Ingredient deep dives. What makes adaptogens so powerful? That's what makes winning non-discount emails, is how specific your points are. We don't want emails that are just like, oh, our product is amazing, get better overall health. No, we want ingredient deep dives on why we use adaptogens. We want how to use Magic Mind for 30 days and here's what to expect. Like, this is the educational stuff that is going to get people to buy. And so we love doing that. And then also I love social proof actually being tied to a specific thing that somebody may be experiencing. Like, I finally ditched coffee. And so having quotes about people who switch from caffeine heavy routines. And so then you'd want to go on the website and find some caffeine specific or coffee specific testimonials about how somebody made the switch. And then the community and branded sort of stuff, like build your brain stack with magic mind and habit loops. So this is like one that could be a founder note, is what it says, but kind of like productivity habits, so bringing value to the email list. And you can see the Valentine's flash sale that it did here, 24 to 48 hours for a Valentine's different push right here. And then finishing an end of month productivity push for the final sales email right here. You can see the different social proof. I think that this is an amazing calendar. Honestly, this is something that I would literally just take and run with. With AI and a properly trained AI like this that I've made, like it makes your strategy so much easier. These are all amazing non-discount angles with a mix of some sales to keep your list engaged. So we love this. Just as a note here, you're gonna have to be sending these emails from some sort of email sending provider, and I would recommend you take a look at OmniSend. It's the best bang for your buck platform for getting you all the maximum capabilities that an e-com brand needs at an amazing price. You can go to omnisend.com/max and you will get 30% off your first 3 months. Because your strategy means nothing if you can't actually send these emails and you can't send them for cheap. So go check them out. Back to the video. But now you could have the best content calendar in the world, but if you miss this next step, nobody's gonna even read your emails in the first place. And this is with your email copy, creatives, and your subject lines. Because planning out campaigns is one thing, but actually bringing those ideas to life is a completely different game. For example, a plain text founder email is going to have a completely different objective than some sort of educational FAQ email. So if you try to shove these all into the same sort of like copy or design template, you'll be sending campaigns that just like don't convert and don't make any sense. There are a couple things that we need to understand about our customer in order to create emails that actually get them to convert. Well, the average customer is kind of scared of reading. In the past, like people are reading newspapers, and so you could have like long form sort of stuff, but I found that long form doesn't convert nearly as well. At times, long form content can work, but really in 2026, like you have 3 seconds of somebody's attention if you send them an email. And so we really need to make things quick, snappy, digestible. We need to make sure that our copy and design go together. As we write copy, we need to be thinking about how this is going to look as an email and what the structure is going to look at. Because people don't just read and then people don't just look at design. These things need to be intertwined. And so I want to teach you to kind of like think of that. And so when we're creating our copy, what we really need to do is we need to look at these 3 different principles. We need it to be skimmable, we need it to be clear and concise, we need it to be engaging. By skimmable, I mean no blocks of copy, break things up, use bolding and headlines so people can skim it. Clear and concise, that's going to be make it nice and short. People don't want all this long stuff. They don't want to read an essay when they're in their inbox. And engaging, you need to make sure it's not boring. So we can take a look at these 3 examples. We have this skimmable example. They have quick sections, quick copy, and bolded points where I can just look at, okay, we'll spill the milk, magic spoon, packed with protein, ooh, 12 to 14, 0 sugar, 100% gluten-free, oh, I'm gluten-free, maybe I'll try this. Boom. Simple, easy. That is going through somebody's head as they read that. That's what we mean by skimmable, make it nice and easy. Then we have this clear and concise. Notice how this isn't a super long email. Headline, quick body copy, button, and then a little bit of information right here, and then a testimonial. Concise, I don't have to spend all day reading this. And then of course we have engaging. You can have fun copy, and you can have educational copy, whatever it is to engage with the customer, we wanna make sure we have that. So right here we have this from S.C.E, don't just buy shit, invest in yours. And give yourself billions of gifts every day now for 50% off. That's super engaging. And then also it's showing like some numbers. You're gonna spend 92 days or 2,200 hours of your life on the toilet. Want to make that time feel smoother. I love this. This is one of my favorite emails that I've ever received. And it's so simple, but it's very, very engaging. They use this fun little thing of don't just buy shit, invest in yours. And they break down all these stats. I'm very engaged by stats. Anytime I see a number, I love it. I love fun facts. And so the ability to use that is super, super effective. So that's what we really want to do in our copy. Make sure it's skimmable, you bold your points, you make it clear and easy to understand. We have the clear and concise, so make it nice and quick, don't make it too long. Then make sure it's engaging. Either have humor, fun, or very, very educational stuff that people can learn something from. That's what we want on the copy side. And the main part of copy and design in 2026 that you need to have nailed, which is going to be injected within each other, copy and design, we need to be using infographics. This is the cheat code for email engagement. Infographics. Nobody wants to read blocks of copy. Your copy is just not going to be read. Instead, we need to use infographics. People can look at stuff and quickly understand kind of like what you're saying. Let's look at AG1's ad library, for example. Do you see them ever doing sort of like not infographics? No, they're showing their products and how everything that you're getting visually, and they're not just doing ads of just like straight copy. No, you need to have infographics to kind of like show people exactly what you're providing to them and what your benefits are. Look at this infographic. They could write a whole bunch of text about this, but no. Maybe in the past on newspaper ads, you could do stuff like that, but today we really have to overload and inject infographics. We want to use checklists like this. We want to use these icon graphics calling out our different features. And then we have feature diagrams, just pointing out exactly what you have in the product rather than a block of copy. We have timelines, so showing timelines of the effects of your product and what somebody might feel with your product. We have numbered word lists, so kind of like bullet points, but with numbers, just like this. You can have comparison cards, super effective in showing how your product compares rather than, again, using a block of copy. You think somebody is more likely to read this and look at this rather than a big block of copy? Correct. You have tables right here. You can have flow charts to guide people into different products, and then you can have different graphs as well to show different stats and help people visualize a stat rather than just saying, hey, we're 200% better. Look at this effect. And so those are the principles that really make a strong email. We need to make sure copy follows the skimmable principle, the clear and concise principle, and the engaging principle. And we need to utilize and overload on infographics. And so with that, we can now actually get to writing copy, which again, we are going to go to the ChatGPT. So right here, you can see right off of the campaign calendar, it says, do you want me to write copy? You could also go back to the top here, say, write me an email marketing campaign. But I'm going to say B to have it write me an email marketing campaign. And so it's literally already saying magic mind right here. It's going to split the email into these sections and then give us variations for each. And we can pick and choose kind of like our design. So let's choose one of these that we want it to write for. I really like this ingredient deep dive. I think it's super effective. So we're going to do the ingredient deep dive right here. And then let's see what it comes out with. You can see it's going to follow all the principles that I had laid out for you before. So right here, it even comes with subject lines and preview text. Really how I want you to think about subject lines and preview text are just the headline and subheadline for your email. Really, they don't have a massive effect on open rates. I know it's kind of controversial. People think that they have a huge effect, but really people should be opening emails based off your sender name rather than the subject line that you send. And so something like this, Adaptogens 101, your secret weapon for stress. That's super interesting and that gets me intrigued. So that's something that I would probably pick for this one because really we want to get some intrigue without telling like the full story of the email. We want to get somebody to kind of like open the email to find out why. Like, hey, why adaptogens are in every bottle of Magic Mind? Like, okay, what's that? The hidden power behind your calm focus. And so we don't even say adaptogens. And so it's like, oh, what is the hidden power behind it? And then also preview text, which is just going to build upon it. Discover how this keeps you more sharp, all that good stuff. And now we can get to the actual variations on copy. And so each of these are different variations of an email right here. You can see how super dead simple these are. This is not some crazy super long email because this is the stuff that just works in 2025. You can see there's a super clear headline, a subheadline, and then a CTA, some body copy, and then you see each one of these is going to have an infographic because we know how effective those are, and then a final product section right down at the bottom. That is the sort of layout for a winning email. And so I like to actually go into Google Docs and visualize these emails before I send it over to design. So I'm just gonna create a table with our different sections, and I'm gonna take the copy that I like the most from this AI and insert it into like a visualization of the email. We go to like Magic Mind's emails that they have right now. Again, it's like headline, little bit of body copy, button, and then an image, and then an infographic. And then sometimes they'll have some sort of like product section at the bottom because that's just like email layout that works. And so that's what this ChatGPT, this custom GPT that I made is trained on. And so we're going to be following that layout exactly. And so I'm going to pick my favorite sort of headline and sub headline right here. And so I kind of like the brain fog has met its match because it calls out a specific thing that a customer might be dealing with. And then since we're not mentioning adaptogens, I want a subheader that is going to mention adaptogens or something here. So that works. And then maybe I'll want to do something like, I like this ancient remedies and modern science agree on. I think that's pretty cool. That would get me to keep reading. So I'm going to use that as the subheadline right here. And then I want to do some body copy before I go into my first button. Okay, so let's look at this adaptogens right here. I think that this is perfect. We're just going to pick this one. I like it right here. Simple, effective. We don't want too much body copy. I'm going to add my shop now CTA right here. And then this is going to be the hero section. We're going to add some sort of graphic just like any other email. This is sort of like the winning layout that we always like to use before we then go to our infographic section. So right now what we have is brain fog has met its match. What ancient remedies and modern science agree on. While most energy drinks push your system into overdrive, we work with your body's natural rhythm. Adaptogens like lion's mane and cordyceps promote sustainable focus, calm nerves, and support long-term cognitive health. Shop now. So now the customer knows like what sort of like adaptogens are in our product. Now I kind of want to educate a little bit more about adaptogens and what they do. And so let's do coffee alone versus Magic Mind. I want one that has to do with the adaptogen. So I want to do this infographic. I'm going to say, give me the copy for this infographic here. And so that we can slot this in because I think that's going to be the most effective for educating on what the adaptogens are. And so let's do this. Again, it's pulling this straight from the website and the information. And then boom, we have what's really inside Magic Mind. So we have ashwagandha, reduce stress, lion's mane, boost focus. Boom. I think that this is perfect. And we'll have images as well, which will show like the ingredient and what it looks like. And that leads us to our final call to action section. So do we want to promote the starter kit, the 15 pack, or the subscription? It all depends on kind of what you want to do right now. I think for now, we'll just go with the Magic Mind 15 pack, nice and simple. We'll go just like this and center this. And then we will be able to design this exactly like how we're looking right now. A super duper simple email. We're going to then add our footer. Notice here, again, how little copy there is, because this is the strategy, this is the layout that really works in 2026. The customer can easily grasp this and understand this. It's focused on the science behind it, and it really shows the customers kind of like what's inside. And we can have AI write even more copy if we wanted to. So let's say I want it to write me the note from the founder why I built Magic Mind email as a text-based emails. And so what I'm mentioning here is a text-based email because we want it to be a text-based email. Because remember, I said that we kind of want 4 graphic-based emails to 1 text-based email. And so here I have right here, I'm gonna see what it can come up with kind of like this text-based sort of vibe. We have, hey, James here. A few years ago, I was running on coffee, stress, and willpower. It worked until it didn't. I was productive, but anxious, focused, but burnt out. And I realized most energy products were just pushing people harder, never helping them feel better. I built Magic Mind because I wanted calm focus, something that supported long-term brain health, not short-term stimulation. No jitters, no crashes, just sustainable performance. If you've ever felt the same way, this is for you. PS is exactly how I use it every morning before deep work. This is awesome. It's just kind of missing a call to action. So you're gonna have to like add a call to action if needed. I'm gonna say something like you forgot a call to action, and then it's going to help me there. It's not gonna be perfect all the time, so make sure that you review this. We're gonna add right here. Here's how I use it every morning. Try Magic Mind, and then it's just gonna link to the product or wherever you want it. I would just link it to the product page, but that's an amazing, super simple text-based email that's not too long, but very effective. And you can even A/B test this. I'm going to say, create me an A/B test variation of that email versus a longer form one that is 250 words. And let's see what it comes up with. And then you can very quickly have AI, ChatGPT, help you out by doing all of this testing for you super fast. And so this one has a little bit more information in here. So this would be a good A/B test to run. So now we have copy like this written out. We're gonna wanna be sending 3 to 4 emails per week, just like this, to our email list. You can just send it to your engaged email list. You don't need to go too crazy on segmentation, especially in 2026. But we actually need to design these emails and make sure that the design is engaging and has everything that we want it to do. But that is for another video. You can click on this next video, which goes over email design and how to make high converting email design, because this video, we're just focused on the strategy. But that's exactly how we create the strategy for email marketing campaigns that generate millions in revenue for our e-commerce brands every single month. Thank you so much for watching. If you want help and you want to have a team manage this for you, if you're on an e-com brand, the link to book a call with us is going to be in the bio. And again, make sure to stick around, watch this next video, which is covering email design, and I will see you over there.